BMX racing, when it comes to becoming a champion, a winner that consistently wins, it's all about 3 things that you need to integrate into your daily habits to become a champion. Let's talk about it. In BMX... All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to another Tuesday night edition of BMX Coach Live. I'm your host, 3-time Olympic coach Greg Romero. And man, I am so grateful and honored to help you guys out today, to be your coach, to help you guys thrive, experience your potential, and sustain it. You know, I was thinking about it the other day when I was coaching one of my winner circle clients, and we were talking about how winners actually carry themselves and the way they act, their self-talk, the way they set up their vision, the way they set up taking action, the way they set up integrating their visions and their goals. And I could not help but have these thoughts still in my head fresh. And, you know, listen, I want to share some of these ideas with you guys in the community and help you guys do the same thing too. Why not? Hey, listen, we're on the live show. If you guys are watching us on the replay, please, if you guys want to support this channel, if you guys find value, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment or a like or dislike if you like it or not. And that way you guys get notified when I go live. There you go. So make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when I go live, more importantly. Hey, listen, we're live. And speaking of live, we have a bunch of guys in the audience. It's our regulars that show up every week. I'm so grateful for you guys. Connor says, what's up, JP? Militia BMX, Kale Thomas, he says hello, coach and community. So many more people: Rob Doherty, Tyson Allen, Jacob James, Thunder Midget, and man, I'm so honored that you guys show up every Tuesday, man. I am so grateful, and man, I couldn't do it without you guys, man, because you guys really keep the fuel going. Hey, listen, you know, one of our goals here at BMX Training as a channel and a community is to help out as many newer and younger riders in our sport, and also our older riders, and also parents that come back into the sport, but more importantly, parents of newer riders in our sport, and arm them with information. And that way, when they show up to the track, you know, they get to enjoy the sport more, enjoy the progressions, and understand the value of integrating work, you know, as if it was a marathon, not a sprint, right? And just, you know, influencing these guys to help them every day, day in, day out. And that way they stick around the sport longer. Man, because listen, the sport is so much better when there's more participants. And right now, we're at an all-time high, and I would say probably in, you know, the last 5-10 years here in America. I don't know what it's like in other parts. Good morning to you guys in down under, or rather it's morning for you guys, right? It's morning for you guys, so good morning. You know, some of the communities here at BMX Training are not only here in America, but, you know, Europe, and, you know, we have people in Australia, New Zealand. But, you know, I'm wondering what your guys' BMX race communities are like during these times coming out of COVID. Right now, we're hitting an all-time high with new participants. And so this is a great opportunity for these guys to enjoy the sport more, and get as much as they can out of it. And that way they stay around longer. Because, you know, one of the issues that we have for the longest time here in America is that riders would join, you know, they might do a few races. They really don't have any visions. They don't really have any goals. They stop improving. They stop enjoying the sport. And really, if these guys could be armed with information that would help them improve, listen, the brain loves improving. If it's improving, and if it has a goal, it has a vision, and there's always something to be worked on, then it's going to keep going after it, right? That's just how humans operate. So if we can, please do share this video on social media, share it with friends, send links. I'm grateful for you guys doing that for me. All right, so what's going on over here? Let's see. Yeah, Danny Booby says 10:30 here in Melbourne, Australia. Audrey says, what's up? Kale Thomas says more and more people are showing up at our local track in Paris, California. All right. Jolie says, hey, coach, I'm 3 wins away from expert. Also, how to manual video really help. Jolie, that's awesome. Great. Fantastic. Listen, I want to do a little quick presentation here and speak about, these different ways that winners win, but more importantly, winning over time and consistently over time. Well, I got to send a message over here to someone real quick. Okay. And hey, can you do me a favor? Can you shut my door for me, please? My door cracked open and it's just kind of like messing with the flow of energy. I'm getting distracted. Awesome. Cool. Now we can begin. Thank you. So, I want to talk about 3 ways winners win, and really in no particular order. I purposely set it up in this order, and I'll give you guys my explanation. Perhaps you guys might see it the way I see it, and you might see it the way you want to see it, and that's totally cool with you, because at the end of the day, it's really just about integrating at least 2 out of 3 things. If you guys can integrate 2 out of 3 things, man, you guys are on the right track towards winning. And if you guys want to become champions, then maybe perhaps you'll integrate 3 out of 3 things. What do you say? I got to get my water in, man. We're having a heat wave in Southern California. It's crazy. All right. So, number 1, really at the end of the day, listen, I think this goes for a lot of successful people in life, right? Not necessarily just BMX, but life in general. People that are successful in business, people that are successful in sport, people that are successful in relationships, people that are successful with relationships with themselves, right? Enjoying things like, their health and fitness, their home environment, things like they can control. And at the end of the day, it comes down to having a vision. Okay. And what's important about having a vision? Well, if you have a vision, then you have a direction. And if you could see under here, I have aims and goals. Really, aims is all about the long-term vision, right? Where you're going in life. And I know sometimes, most of the time, and I'm guilty of this as well, is that athletes, we tend to think more short-sighted. We think about the short term. Where can we get that next victory? Where can we improve quickly right here, right now? And at the end of the day, having that long-term vision, right, which I call an aim, is super important. Okay. If you have that vision, most people that have successful marriages or successful careers, listen, some of you guys that come out of school, you guys already know what you want to do when you guys come out of school. And perhaps going to college is a goal, right? Finishing college is a goal. Getting an internship out of college is a goal. Now, for the rest of us that are awkward, maybe perhaps that's not a different route, and maybe you take a different path, and it doesn't really matter. As long as you have this vision of where you want to go, and you're setting up all these goals and dominoes in a way that's going to allow you to keep going towards that vision, or what I would call spiraling up towards the vision. And I think that's really important. If you guys can get that vision first, okay? And here's the thing. A lot of people get caught up on, I really can't create this vision of who I want to become, right? Because really at the end of the day, these goals that you create is all about the person that you need to become, or who you need to be, in an effort to continuously go after that aim, and at the same time accomplish these little micro goals on the way. And so having a vision is key. Sometimes people get caught up in that, but at the end of the day, trust me, take a leap of faith, and I'll explain it towards the end why this formula works for a lot of successful people. It may work for you, is that having a vision is super key. Now, if you have baggage, if you have hangups in, man, I really don't see myself becoming a champion. I don't know, I'm not sure of myself. And a lot of us go through that. I've been through that myself, right? I think of something that I may want, I jump down the path, but I lose focus because I don't have an aim. I don't have a vision. And so trust me, having a vision is key. Connor Fields talks about the story when he was, 8, I think he was like maybe I was going to say 8, but more like 10, 11, 12 years old, when the Olympics were introduced into our sport of BMX, he already created a vision and he wrote it on the garage wall. He talks about it. He wrote it on the garage wall. I'm going to be an Olympic champion, right? And so he already had the vision. He just wrote it down. And the cool thing was his parents never challenged him on that, right? They never said, oh, you can't do that. What are you thinking, right? They supported him as the superstar that he wanted to become. So as parents, if you guys are listening, I think it's really important that you support your athlete in terms of whatever they want. Because at the end of the day, anything's possible. Who are we as coaches, parents, team managers, friends, and family to tell people they can't accomplish anything? At the end of the day, we're really projecting our own interpretation that we can't do it. So the best thing that we could do for athletes that are newer, or they've been in the sport for a long time, support their vision, right? Support them, treat them as stars, treat them as superstars. It is so critical. It is so critical for you guys to do that as coaches, team managers, parents alike. Okay. So let's talk about getting rid of baggage, right? Because number 2, after you guys created your vision, after you guys created your aim, and then wrote down those goals of what you need to do to accomplish that aim, we have to work on the baggage, right? Because I know it was really hard for us at first to write down the vision of, you know what, I want to be, a lot of people, it's crazy how many people talk about how they don't want to be a champion or how they don't want to win the state championship or a national championship. They kind of settle for something that's like less, right? And really that's just a protective mechanism. And I think at the end of the day, you have to go for it, take a leap of faith, write down your goals, get clear on what you want. Then number 2, you work on the programming, you work on getting rid of the baggage, you work on those reasons as to why your unconscious mind's telling you can't do it. Write those things out, work on it, right? Just jot it down, right? And really at the end of the day, it's crazy. You could do this for anything in life, right? It could be in work and career, it could be in relationships, it could be in money and finance. It's crazy how many people have had baggage around money and finance, right? They're grown up in a household where, money doesn't grow on trees. And hey, you know what? Like, there's not a whole lot of money. You got to save your money. And all of a sudden you have this scarcity mindset around money. A lot of people have the scarcity mindset about having and creating success for themselves. And so at the end of the day, you have to write it out, identify it, and see what needs to be worked on. See if you can't get someone to help you on some of these things. Maybe it's like, a limiting belief that you're not good enough. Well, there's people out there that can help you with that, right? Certainly, you may have a limiting belief that that you're just not worthy of being a champion, right? Write that out. Write it down and then just analyze that. Like, where is that coming from? Because most of the stuff where it pops up as baggage, man, trust me, it's not really you. It's programming that's yours, and it's your responsibility to deal with it, but it's to no fault of your own, because at the end of the day, in the first 7 years of our life, really in the first 3 years of our programming, we learn that sometimes we're not good enough. Sometimes we're not capable. Sometimes, most of the time we learn that, we're born in this scarcity mindset. And same thing happens in sport. And the reason why we want to get rid of baggage is because baggage derails us off the path. If you see here, I have a picture of a track, right? Anyone can consciously create a goal and be like, you know what, I'm going to start taking action. Let's go for it, right? And then all of a sudden, baggage is going to derail them, right? And derailment happens in many ways. And when I mean derailed, listen, it's like jumping down the path. You're taking action, and it's like, you know what? Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is for me, or I'm not good enough, or you know what, I'm not clear on my vision. And so, they get distracted and then they wander off the path. That's called a derailment. And there's all kinds of ways to get derailed. I mean, there's so many different ways. I can spend the next hour talking about it, but the most common ones are, just not being good enough, or not finding satisfaction, not finding success. And that's just as a result of that comes back to not getting clear on the vision, not getting clear on the aims, not getting clear on the goals that you want, right? Because if you jump down the path and start taking aim start taking action without an aim, it's just like jumping in a car and not knowing where you're going, right? It's just like hopping on a ship and just saying, you know what, let's just go on a cruise. And then you're wondering why you're lost. And you know what? You're like, dude, I want to get off this boat. Screw this. I don't know where I'm going. In fact, I'm lost. And so typically that's what happens in sport. That happens in a lot of things. That happens in careers. It happens in relationships. It happens with all kinds of different stuff. It happens especially a lot in sport. People come in, they're not clear on what they want. They're not clear on their vision. They're not clear on their goals. Therefore, they're not really clear on the action that they're taking. So baggage pops up and it derails them off the path. Okay. One of my teachers, he always talks about how most of us go through life with a jet engine and weights strapped to their back, right? Most of the time we think about, when we create a goal, we create a vision, we want to focus on the high octane. We want to focus on how we can pump up the engine and go faster, go farther. When we can just get rid of baggage by snipping it, we can become lighter. We'll have more energy by default. We'll be faster by default. We'll go further by default. Okay? So, think of baggage, how it can also potentially weigh you down, right? Not only can it derail you, but can also weigh you down. All right? Are you guys finding this helpful? If you guys are finding this helpful, let me know in the comments below. And then I would say number 3, of course, right? Taking action, right? Taking action is key. And yeah, it's true. Could we take action without visions, without creating an aim, without having goals, without ridding ourselves of baggage and things that may derail us, and still find success? Absolutely. Absolutely. And before I talk more about taking action the way winners do it, listen, one of the things that pops up a lot is that we take action, we find success, and then we hit this upper limit thermostat problem, right? An upper limit thermostat issue is just kind of like the thermostat in your house, right? Let's just say that, right now I think it's probably 85 degrees. Thermostat set at 72. So, if I'm jumping down the path and I'm starting to warm up, okay, and I get hot, I might find success, but that thermostat has it set at 72. So by default, I'm going to bring it back down, right? I'm not going to believe that I deserve success. I'm not going to believe that I'm good enough to have that. And therefore, I'm not going to be able to sustain that success, that experience. So at the end of the day, that's where getting rid of baggage is actually really helpful, because it enables you to turn that thermostat up so you can handle the heat, so you can handle the success, so you can walk and talk and act and carry yourself as a champion, right? As opposed to the opposite, where it's just like, you know what, I think I'm okay. I think I'm pretty good. No, you know what, I'm not good enough, right? Like, look at my body language. Like, it's just like, I'm not really confident right now. So, taking action as a winner, sometimes, I'm over here talking about taking action. It's all the same thing, right? Like a moment ago, we are talking about getting rid of baggage. Getting rid of baggage also helps with, again, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you present yourself, right? The way you have that self-talk, the way you talk to others, right? If you find yourself giving lots of compliments to a lot of people, perhaps you're going to get more of that in the same. Perhaps you're actually perceiving yourself as someone that's worthy, right? So, that's the thing. When people give criticism, they're really just projecting. They're projecting their own inner self-talk. So that's something that you have to work on, right? That's it. Taking action not only means going to the track, doing the work, recommitting to the gym work, doing the sprint work on getting faster, but also taking action in terms of the awesomeness programming, the champion programming, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, right? Body language is key. Body language is 55% of communication, right? So, the way you carry yourself, having your chin up and your shoulders back, is critical, right? I wouldn't be able to present if I was just unsure of myself, right? If I didn't know what I was talking about. Man, I'm having a live show today. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. In fact, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. I'm not even sure if anything I say anyone's going to believe, man. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Oh my God. Am I capable? No, man. See how I just changed my body language and my tone and my words? Words don't mean nothing, but really body language and tone is everything when it comes to communication. So how are you projecting your communication not only to others, but to yourself? How is your self-communication? Do you have that monkey on the back side of your shoulder telling you things that are unresourceful, right? Is it telling you you're not good enough? Is it telling you you're not fast enough? Is it telling you, hey man, you know what? Maybe you should just protect yourself. Maybe you should dumb down your goals, man, because I don't want to get hurt here. Hey man. But at the end of the day, taking action is critical, right? Because, in BMX, it's all about putting in the work day in, day out. And it's crazy how many people actually do not recommit every day to being a champion. Recommitment is huge in taking action against your goals in an effort to become the person that you want to be, that you set forth in your aim. Having that vision requires taking action. Taking action supports the vision. And listen, it's not like you have to dedicate a whole week and try to fit 80 hours of training in 7 days. No, I think at the end of the day, you just need to be consistent every day and show up, right? It's kind of like going to school. You go to school every day. You don't learn a whole lot, but over time you learn a lot. But you learn a lot because you consistently show up every day. And so in BMX racing, it's hard because we're not a team sport and the track doesn't operate every day. So that means on off days, you got to show up. You got to put in work when no one's looking. That means you have to do your sprints. That means you have to do your strength work. All right. Are we finding this helpful? Listen, I'll take this quote out of one of my favorite books called The Slight Edge. I have a lot of my athletes and my executive guys that I coach out of the sport read this book. The Slight Edge, it's really simple. The premise goes like this. It's easy to do. It's also easy not to do. So you might as well do it. I was going to swear right there, but it's easy to do, easy not to do. So you might as well do it. Like this morning, I'm working on some other stuff in a different career. I'm spending 30 to 45 minutes a day during breakfast and after breakfast, and I wrap up. Okay. I'm working on studying. I'm working on doing things, and I'm upgrading my knowledge in a different area outside of BMX. I'm not spending 40 hours a week doing it. I wouldn't be able to be here to serve others and serve my clients and serve you. So I'm just doing a little bit every day. And after a while, it's going to compound on itself. Same thing when it comes to getting faster. You guys got to show up every day. And I'm surprised how many people don't do that because it's easy not to do. So you just don't do it. So, but listen, one of the quotes in the book, The Slight Edge, you guys want to know what it is? Okay, so it goes like this. Basically, there's this guy in this energy plant that has this wheel, this big cement archaic wheel rotating at 10,000 RPM, right? His name is John. Steve comes in and says, hey, John, what was the one big push that got this thing moving at 10,000 RPM? He goes, man, it ain't like this. This thing's heavy. He goes, I started on the first day by giving it a push as much as I can. And on the first day, he can only push it a quarter of a turn. The next day, he did a little bit past a quarter of a turn. The next day, he did a half a turn. And then he got it doing a full rotation. The following week, he was able to get it to 2 rotations. You see where I'm getting at? And after a long time, these consistent efforts every day over time, he got this thing moving at 10,000 RPMs. Connor Fields did not become an Olympic champion, when he made that decision of age 12 and just decided, you know what, I'm going to put in a bunch of work right now to become Olympic champion. No, he went through the progressions. He showed up every day. He had that vision, always kept that vision, created goals to ensure that he was on that path to become the person he wanted to become. And then he, at the same time, he just became that person. He became that person at an early age. He started walking, he started talking, he started taking action as an Olympic champion. That's how winners win, man. All right, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, I've probably missed so much, and I could keep talking about this, but I'm curious to know if you guys are watching this, in the live feed, are you guys finding this helpful? If you guys are finding this helpful, leave a comment in below. What are some of the things that I said that may work for you, especially in the live show here? What's working? What's working for you, and what are some of the things that I'm talking about that can help you? Well, cool. Well, listen, let's go to the Ask Coach G section of the show. And I'm looking forward to addressing some of these questions in the live feed here from our audience. And yeah, let's get those right after the break. Hey guys, I have a question. What would it do for you if you could enhance your power out of the gate, enhance your sprint speed down the first straight, enhance your skills, enhance your mental performance mind state? What would that do for your racing or your kids' racing? If you're seeing the value of enhancing your BMX performance, consider joining the community of BMX Training Pro and get the same access my Olympic athletes have enjoyed, as well as thousands of BMXers all over the world. Some members use the access to improve their gate start techniques. Some also use the access to keep them motivated to train, and you'll find your reason when you gain access and join BMX Training Pro today.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now.
Nitro with the nice flow.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now. Let's go. Stay focused, here the heat come. Concentrate to the sound of the beat drum. Yeah. Start it up, take it back now. Check it out. This is how it's going down. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. Whoa, getting some feedback here. Welcome back to the show, guys. Been looking at some of the questions coming in. Let's see here. We had one. He said, Thomas Luther. He says, "Hey, coach, I try to get." Oh wait, it says, "Hey, coach." the message thing is moving and moved on me. He says, "Hey, coach, first time on the live feed. Only been racing for 6 months, but got my first win last weekend and currently ranked 5th in the state." Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. Your videos have helped me out a lot. Keep up the good work. Thomas, welcome to the live show. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing that with us, man. You know, hey, listen, at the end of the day, I want you guys to be proud. That's another thing that winners do. They're proud of what we do. We're proud of what we accomplish. And I want you guys, day in, day out, week in, week out, share what you guys are doing to share your successes, you know, because it's only going to motivate us, right? And listen, man, speaking of motivation, there was one thing I forgot, and I say this all the time. When it comes to having the vision, right? The vision, the aims, and the goals. When you guys create these visions, these aims, these goals, man, it really helps out with our motivation. In fact, we get an auxiliary resource of fuel. When motivation runs out, we get this thing called ambition, and that's going to help us with the slide edge. That's going to help us with the consistency of showing up day in, day out, right? Again, you know, motivation is finite. We only get so much. It's interesting. I don't, what's the, let me look at my books over here. Let's see, is it, oh shoot, it's an Audible book, and I love sharing books with you guys, but let's see if I can find it. But there's a book where they'd actually talked about motivation being finite, and they talked about how motivation kind of runs like fuel in a car, and the way we refuel our motivation is through sleep, nourishment of food, you know, and things like, giving back to community and helping out others, right? That's how we get fueled on motivation. But for the most part, we get it through rest and fuel, okay? Food and fuel. I'm sorry, food and rest, okay? Then you wake up in the morning and, it's just like having a box of matches. Maybe you wake up and you have 80 matches and, in the morning just to get out of the house, you burn 5 matches, right? You start working, you burn, 10, 15 matches. Man, maybe you get in an argument unnecessarily, or you jump on Facebook or the internet and you burn 30 matches. All of a sudden it's like, dude, you only got 20 matches left and you need probably 15 of them to work out and you're running out of fuel. So, winners conserve and pay attention to where their energy goes. Where attention goes, energy flows. And so at the end of the day, motivation's finite. And here's the thing. And now I'm not saying that, if you have these visions, you have this ambition that it could bypass motivation. Listen, you still have to watch your energy. You still have to get rest. But in terms of taking action, in terms of dedication, in terms of having your goals and your vision, your aims on the forefront of your mind, you're going to get that ambition, which is going to bypass motivation, right? Because we always, people that most of us have a lot of energy. We can easily do things. But if we don't have a purpose and it doesn't align with our personal values, we do it, we're going to resent it. We're not going to like it. And that's why it's so important to, number one, get the vision, get those aims, get those goals configured. And that way you guys have the ambition to take action. That way you guys have the motivation to get rid of baggage. There's no point. We only want to get rid of baggage if we have goals that we want, if we have aims that we want. Otherwise, we're just going to default to our normal everyday programming. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Let's see here. Let's see. Cruz and Omar says very helpful. A Thunder Midget says you need to be all in and dedicated. Let's see. Cale Thomas says he says, yes, coach, very good stuff. Thunder Midget had a comment here. I thought it was interesting. He said, the biggest baggage I try to get rid of and keep to a minimum is negativity. Yeah, man, like negativity is really, it really starts with the environment, right? It starts at home. Sometimes it starts in your own bedroom, right? Do you have things that are symbolic in your bedroom that keep you positive? Do you have positive books? Do you have goals? Do you have things that make you happy, that can put you in a positive state, right? That's key, right? Creating an environment in your home. And then of course, that way you can start working on yourself at home, right? Creating a positive environment in your head. Okay. Because it's kind of hard to get rid. I need to work on getting rid of negativity. I'm going to focus on that. Well, you're just going to remain negative. Here's the thing. When it comes to your self-talk, I think self-talk is a good place to start, right? Something negative comes up in your head, and you got to be good at reframing these negative thoughts. First and foremost, these negative thoughts aren't yours. It's just it's part of the programming. It's no fault of your own. However, you are responsible of your self-talk. And so you have to recognize that these negative thoughts are coming up. And then you just got to tell yourself, okay, cool, that was interesting. What would I rather focus on in a positive way instead? And just focus on the positive. You have to train your way to recognize that negative thinking, ask the question, what would I rather think of instead in a positive way, and do that now. That's how you do it. It's how you do it. And it's so tough, right? Like, there's so many things that we can easily see, hear, or feel that put us in a negative state. Listen, one of the things I do, I would say I'm pretty positive, but listen, I don't watch the news, okay? Right? I try to surround myself with as much positivity as I can. And it starts with the home environment. It starts with the things that I read. it starts with the things that I say and how I talk to people, right? It starts with the way I carry myself, right? The way I smile, the way I talk to everybody. I value everybody. If I value everybody, that's a reflection of me valuing myself. And so I know I'm kind of going off a different path here, but yes, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta find yourself, catch yourself saying negative things, or catch those negative thoughts and just reframe them in a positive direction. Hey, what would I rather focus on in a resourceful way instead? Cool. Hopefully that helps. I love this stuff. What else do we got? Let's see. TFR Thomas Family Racing. He has a question. I think it's a little bit, it's not on topic of what we're talking about, but that's okay. I've been struggling all week with the last week's topic. I understand that focused training is ideal and will produce the most direct results, but why would additional endurance training not be good? Wouldn't endurance training benefit the cardio aspect? Great questions, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm happy to answer that in a way that's, you know, beneficial for you and everyone else that's listening. First off, I think we have to identify what endurance and what cardio is, right? And then we have to identify what energy systems we're using in BMX are. Which one should we do first? Well, at the end of the day, BMX is a sprint power, all explosive sport. Our muscles are, the muscles and metabolic system that we're using is pretty much fast twitch. Okay. It's explosive. So, and then I can get really technical, because then not only are there, you know, these type 2 fibers, but there's also these other mixed type 2 fibers, mixed type 2 with type 1. Type 1 is going to be more endurance, and we can easily influence those to be either way. Okay. So the more specific that we train as power athletes, then we get to not only benefit programming the fast twitch motor units, fibers, and metabolic system specifically, but we'll be able to influence the other ones to aid in these, right? So we could influence other fibers that can go either way. They can go fast twitch or slow twitch. We have the ability to influence those to be fast twitch. So if we start doing endurance stuff, right, slow cardio, and when I mean endurance, I'm talking like zone 1, zone 2 power and heart rate. Okay, what does that mean? So like, I don't know, just Google it. Google zone 1, zone 2 heart rate, or zone 1, zone 2 power, like on an endurance, on like endurance cycling, right? Endurance cycling, you know, we train endurance at zone 1, zone 2. Okay, so that's what endurance is, right? It's a lower heart rate, it's a longer duration. Obviously, you're working on the aerobic capacity, metabolic systems, muscle fibers. But again, you know, aerobic fibers here, fast twitch anaerobic fibers here, and then in the middle you have these ones that can go either way. If we train specifically, we get to benefit more and be more powerful. If we train not so specific, then we're going to be more towards an endurance athlete. Now, everyone is kind of predisposed in terms of their physiology, right? Like some people come in naturally as endurance athletes, have very little fast twitch, and some people come in with more fast twitch, have very little cardio, or rather slow twitch fibers. They're not really set up for endurance. They're more set up for power. And some guys that are really, you know, wiry and kind of skinny, and you know, they could run forever and run for days, and they don't get tired, but they're more geared for endurance sports, and that way not really geared towards power sports. Now listen, in BMX, you know, the map's not the territory, because there's so many different athletes in BMX, right? There's younger riders, older riders, beginners, intermediates, experts, pros, and obviously, you know, the more competitive we get, the more specific we're getting in terms of physical predisposition, right? And so most of us most of us are doing this recreationally for fun, and then we're out. We're going to go do something else. Majority of us are not going to race professionally. Let's just face it. So it's not that big of a deal. I hope this is helpful. So at the end of the day, listen, if you're a recreational athlete and you want to do some endurance activities, such as riding mountain bike, going road cycling, going for a jog, I think that's great. Do that one day a week. And I would say if you're really dedicated as a BMX athlete that wants to be a winner, that wants to keep spiraling up, and you got specific aims and goals, then I think it's, training with some specificity is totally important. It just is. Hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for your question and input. And let me add to this. I always give you this. I always give you the extra add, right? Let me add to the endurance. Don't get me wrong. There is an endurance aspect of BMX racing. So like, can cardio like zone 1, zone 2 could help you out with BMX? Yeah, in a roundabout way. In a way, it'll help with the facilitation of anaerobic metabolic waste. Okay, it'll help you recover day to day. Okay, but let's not get away from specificity of endurance specific for BMX, because there's power endurance where you guys can put in longer efforts than, say, a gate to the first turn or a gate to the first jump or a short sprint that's like 90 feet long. You guys can put in longer efforts, okay? When I mean longer effort, that just means, high intensity for a longer duration. Of course, it's going to be, it might be unnecessary after 45 seconds because in terms of specifics, in terms of specificity of the imposed demand, we don't really race longer than 45 seconds on a BMX track. So it doesn't make any sense for us to go all out longer than 45 seconds. And man, let me tell you, if you try to go out there and do intervals of 45 seconds to a minute and rest really short and try to do it again, you're not gonna be able to do 2 or 3 of those past that. If you can, man, then you need to be in a different sport. Okay, hopefully that is helpful. Let's see here. Rob Doherty has a comment. He says, it takes years of work to become an overnight success. Yeah, it's like becoming wealthy, right? Think about compounding interest. Okay? Same thing when it comes to our BMX training and our preparation or performance. Showing up day in, day out is the way to go. Rob Doherty says, my 16-year-old son just went intermediate. He wants to know if he should move to clipless pedals right away or stay on flats for a while. It's such a great question, and there's so many different opinions, and a lot of opinions would say, oh, you know what, stay on the flats. At the end of the day, your son has to decide when he's ready. I'm not going to be the one to do that, and certainly, hopefully, no one else should have a huge influence on what he should do. I think at the end of the day, he needs to be educated and he needs to be influenced on what he needs to do in a way that he can influence himself. So, is he comfortable with the execution of all his skills, right? Can he sprint good, get a good gait? Can he manual? Can he jump? Can he turn? Can he handle the bike well, right? Is he comfortable in traffic? Is he able to do all those things with some kind of competence, right? He doesn't have to have full mastery, but, at least conscious competence, right? Where he's really close to mastery. And when I mean mastery, I mean being able to do that without thinking, right? Is he able to do all these skills with competence or close to mastery where he could do some of these things without thinking? Once he gets there, then I think he's in a place where he could consider trying out some clipless pedals. Why not? Okay. I think that's great. And I think, another thing would be to, for what purpose, I think he needs to ask himself the question, for what purpose does he want to clip in? Because if it's like, I want to be faster, okay, great. Are you consistently working away from the track on getting faster? We don't want to use clips as a crutch just to be faster, right? We don't want to be caught up in spending money on speed. Because that's a never-ending game, my friend. That is a never-ending game, right? I see it in road cycling, man. People spend thousands of dollars to save 4 ounces here and there. People spend thousands of dollars to save 5, 10, 15 watts. Now, don't get me wrong. I think, with the rule and the benefit of marginal gains, finding, 1, 2% in all areas of equipment, physical, emotional, mental, everything, I think it all adds up. But I think at the end of the day, listen, at this level of BMX racing, at the recreational level, are you working on getting fast day in, day out? Great. Then I would say that you're in the conversation of being able to deserve clipless pedals. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I hope that helps. What's going on? The ball tap is brutal. I don't know what that means. Am I creating an unnecessary noise through my microphone? Kel Thomas, negativity hurts you in the thinker of the thoughts. Let's see, how did he say this? Negativity hurts you. Okay, I'm gonna have to reread this sentence because I think he typed it really fast, or maybe he did Siri. Kel Thomas says negativity hurts you, the thinker of thoughts, the most, even if the negative thoughts are about someone else. Yeah, because if your negative thoughts are about someone else, really you're just projecting. Perception is projection. Whatever you, it's kind of like whoever smelt it dealt it, right? That's how, that's how the power of interpretation is, Perception is indeed projection. Tony the Tasmanian Devil Zaz says, I anchor myself with positivity by remembering my win at the Orlando State Finals. The big trophy helps too. Dude, that's great, man. At the end of the day, I love the fact that you brought up anchoring. And it's crazy because it's so powerful, right? Human beings are anchored to just about everything and anything. Man, it's crazy. Like when your favorite TV show pops up, you're anchored by the introductory music, right? When you unconsciously hear a commercial like McDonald's or something, like you might even say it in your head, da 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 da. Then all of a sudden, unconsciously, you're thinking, man, I might want a Big Mac. I mean, that's how anchoring works. So, you're anchored by your first name, Tony, right? You're anchored by your first name. You hear your first name, you stop what you're doing, and you're just like, what, right? So yeah, I have no problems with anyone wanting to anchoring something positive based on an event that happened successfully, right? Most of my athletes, I kind of do the same thing. We go back in time or a future time of what they saw, hear, and felt when they won, when they were successful. We extract all those modalities. We get all the positive kinesthetic feelings. We identify what those are as words, and then we re-anchor them. We create a trigger. We create an anchor that we can trigger to put them in the ideal performance mind state. It's easy to do. We're triggered on just about everything and anything. Just pay attention, right? Just pay attention. If something makes you upset, you're triggered. I'm human. I'm easily triggered by things that can make me upset. But most of the time, I've worked on that, right? But most of the time, I'm finding the awesomeness around a lot of things. Okay, so let's see here. Kel Thomas says, from Google, Zone 1 is the exercise intensity up to the level of the aerobic threshold. Very good. The intensity is so low that all lactic acid accumulated or produced in the muscles is being utilized. Yes. Here we go. Tony says, John Purse is my coach at Sarasota BMX. I love John Purse, man. He triggered me, but man, he helped me get focused, man. John Purse was a fierce competitor, very well respected. Jumpers is my coach, he says, at Sarasota BMX. I love watching you guys on YouTube. You guys are my inspiration. Anyways, would I be wasting my time going on long bike rides, or should I be doing sprints? You know what? That's up to you. Because sometimes long bike rides, as I was explaining to TFR, right? Thomas Family Racing, that sometimes, going on these recreational rides are great for the emotional and mental capacity, right? Just getting away from it all, or having a go with a bunch of buddies and having some fun. Going for a mountain bike ride, going for a road bike ride, going for a long ride on your BMX. I have no problems with that. As long as that's not the intention of, dude, I'm doing this to get faster, and I'm gonna be explosive as a result. That ain't gonna happen. If you want to be explosive as a result, you got to work on power. You got to work on force. You got to work on force development. You got to work on speed, and that's not going to happen on a long endurance ride. Tyson Allen says, hey, coach, can you answer my question up there when you get a chance? Sorry if I'm being greedy, laugh out loud, just need help. No problem, Tyson. Man, you show up every week. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help you out, my man. Let me scroll up and see what Tyson says. Okay, I see something that you typed. I'm going to go a little bit higher and see if there was a question earlier when we hopped on the show. Okay, no. All right, Tyson, so what do you say here? You said, Tyson says, about 2 weeks ago, I was super motivated and was in a perfect mind state. Awesome. I haven't raced for 2 weeks now, and now I'm in an average mind state. I want to be above average. I want to be motivated. Tips. Okay, so the way I'm reading it, it sounds like racing puts you in a positive, perfect, super motivated mind state, right? Okay. So if you're not able to race, how can you maintain that, right? Okay, so you need to ask yourself, Tyson, what are some of the things that I see here, and more importantly, feel kinesthetically? Like, what do I get? What feelings, what thoughts and feelings do I get when I race? Write down all the positive stuff, okay? And then you want to focus on putting yourself into those states. If racing gives you joy, if it gives you empowerment, listen, sometimes you don't have to do this stuff to be in that state. Just be that, right? For me, I wake up every morning and I put myself in a grateful and joyous state. Trust me, it's more resourceful, okay? It's more resourceful. And yes, I'm older now. I don't race. And when I used to race, I used to be grateful. I used to be motivated because I got to train on my bike and get paid to do it and travel to do it as a pro. And, when you stop racing, then you kind of tend to lose the purpose. And it's like, okay, well, what am I getting out of bed for? So sometimes you just, I find my reasons as to why I get out of the bed, motivated, positive, joyous, grateful. And you could do the same thing too. Just by simply going back in time and understanding what is it about racing that puts you in this, what you call perfect mind state. Write it down. Ask yourself the question after the show. Take a pen and a piece of paper and just start writing things down in terms of like one word. Like, what are some of these feelings? What are some of these thoughts? Should be one word each, right? And then you can anchor those, right? You can anchor those. There's all kinds of ways you can anchor it. But yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes you could just say those words when you hop out of bed, and then you just try to you do your best to maintain that state throughout the day. All right. I think Will Smith said it best. Check out Will Smith's channel. I don't know if he said it correctly, but he said something like this, something to the effect of like, have an awesome life every day. I'm going to swear because these are his words. Have an awesome life every day. F around, you'll have a awesome life. He said it like that. That didn't come out right, but he basically said it like this. Every day have an awesome life. Fuck around and have an awesome life. Straight up with swag, right? With swag. the slide edge, right? Putting in that work every day to get faster, you're going to be fast on the bike. Mess around, you're going to be fast on the bike, man. And same thing, right? You guys want to be in that positive, awesome, resourceful mind state, whether you're a parent, whether you're a rider, whether you're just watching this show, lurking in. Man, you got to put in the work for that mind state. You can't rely on external things to put you in that mind state. That's how people fizzle out, right? We can be addicted to external things that give us those big dopamine hits, okay? Not only like drugs, alcohol, sex, and stuff like that, but, winning races, right? Validation on the internet, likes and comments, all that stuff. You don't want to rely on things externally to put you in that awesome mind state. Have it develop from within. For most people, that might sound kind of weird, but for those that do it, they get it. They're nodding their head. They're like, heck yeah, that's how I do it. And that's how champions do it. Champions don't look for external validation, right? That's how people, and when I say champions, that means people that are able to sustain success. Don't get me wrong. Could you sustain success by being motivated by external success and validation? Yeah. And at the end of the day, it could be a dark road. It could be a lonely road. You could develop a big ego. You can develop into a narcissist. Okay. Certainly you could develop into, someone that's not fun to be around. All right. So for the rest of us that kind of have it figured out that working on the internal is better, yeah, man, that's the way to go. We got to be able to wake up in an effort to train. We have to find that purpose. We have to put ourselves in that positive, resourceful mind state and maintain that throughout the day, despite the fact that this world's moving fast. Like we have social media, we might see something, hear something, or feel something that shifts us out of state. And man, let me tell you, that's why I recommend, like what I did, I deleted the Facebook app. I couldn't delete the app. I couldn't delete the account because I need it for business, but I haven't logged on to Facebook in 2 months, and man, I got so much positivity. I got so much real estate in my head for positive stuff, man. It's crazy. Tony says, thanks for taking the time to answer your question. Thunder Midget says, hey, up for the challenge. BMX Noob says, hey, coach, first time catching your live. I've been watching your other videos. Right on, man. Welcome to the show. Can you do something in the future talking about just starting out and pumping over rollers properly? Yeah, I could probably do that. That almost needs to be like a non-live video, like a video that I do and we post it, right? And just talk about the progressions of pumping. I'll write that down, man. Days Rock says, what's good, coach? Keep missing the notification. The house is looking fire. Thank you. When's a housewarming party? Yeah, man, it's going to be mid-July. You want to come? Tyson says, thanks, coach. That genuinely helped me a lot. You're welcome, man. I'm grateful for you to show up and be vulnerable and ask those questions. And I'm humble and grateful to answer it. Kel says, thank you, everyone. Got to run. Great job, coach. Hey, have a good one. Yeah, I'm getting close to that time too, guys. It's 6:30. And man, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be your coach. Also, if you guys find any value, make sure, and you guys want more, make sure you guys check out bmxtraining.com. Most of these guys in the live chat are members. And man, you guys should become members as well. Listen, man, it's always a pleasure. It's such an honor. I'm humble. I'm grateful. I'm really psyched that you guys show up and support this channel. It really means a lot to me, but more importantly, it means a lot to me because it's helping out our community. Again, I do this for our community. I don't have to do this, but I do it because I love it. And man, thank you guys so much for your support. Guys, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. If you're in Australia, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Keep working hard. Again, keep recommitting to being the champion that you want to be. Create that vision of aims and goals. Start getting rid of baggage. Identify what that baggage is. Start taking action. Okay? Start taking action, because these goals don't happen without taking action. All right? Take consistent action every day, day in, day out. Remember the slight edge. Remember, it's easy to do. It's also easy not to do, so you might as well do it. Think about your goals. Think about your vision. Think about your aims when you get out of bed. Be ambitious when you show up to train. And I guarantee you, you guys are going to have a lot of success. And more importantly, you guys are going to sustain it. You guys have a good night. Coach G, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.